everything up, and then I do light for light. So if I want to work through as quick as I possibly can, what I do is I go through and mark everything up, and then I do light for light. So if I'm drilling my lockout, which is what we're going to do first, I'll go through and I'll drill all my locks out. And then I'll go back and then chop all my face plates, rather than just work on one lock at a time. So I do light for light. That way I haven't got to keep changing my tools and my drills, okay, and it just saves time, yeah? And if you're working with two people, even better. One's marking out, you're going behind, then they come behind then you go behind them, and you can start working fast. Right, so what we're going to do is we're actually first of all going to drill out, okay, enough for our casing to go in. So what we want a drill bit that is fractionally larger than our casing, but smaller than our foreign plate. So in the case of this, 16mm, but that also allows for any rivets, okay, and bit screws, whatever's on my casing. Okay? So I'm going to take a 16. Now what I want to do, I want to drill the correct depth. I don't want to drill too deep, because I'll take away the structure of my door. I don't want to go too shallow, otherwise the lock won't fit in. So if I take my drill bit, okay, place it through, not the point, so the shoulders come through, maybe 4 or 5mm, like so. If I then take a piece of tape, I can put a piece of tape around the back edge of my lock, and I know that once I drill into that deep, I know I've gone deep enough. Yep. I'm then going to drill this out. So let's take a drill. And before I drill that out, if we look at where our top of our hole is and bottom of our hole is, take the edge of your drill bit, line it up, come through, put a mark. From the bottom, come through, put a mark. Now I know exactly where my top drill and bottom drill goes in. Put the drill in, make sure you're on drill and 2. Now when I drill that, I don't want to be drilling down at an angle. I don't want to be drilling sideways at an angle, because you could come through the face of your door. So I've got to go 90 degrees to this. Now you can angle this slightly upwards, but only by a degree. Don't go too steep, that'd be ridiculous. So we're going to do the top hole first and then the bottom hole second. So from here, I come on, line this up exactly where I need to be, come forward, and drill. Top hole, then bottom hole. Now what we're going to do is we're now going to use a technique called stitch drilling. So I'm going to drill this out, but trying to get my holes to intersect with each other. So as I come through, okay, I line up. And I work my way down. Drill through and they've all intersected. Now there are some people, okay, that will clear that out by putting their drill in and running their drill up and down. The trouble with doing that, it does work, but it actually knackers your chuck, ruins your chuck of your drill, so we're not going to do that, yeah? We're going to chop it out sensible. Now what I need to do, what I'm looking at doing, is I'm now going to open my holes up, or join them all up, to the outside edges. Okay, so from this point here, I'm going to mark or cut out all these high points. I'm not, and again, I repeat that because I've seen some people do it, I'm not cutting this out to my faceplate. I'm just opening that hole up. So I will take a wide chisel. Okay, in this case, you're going to use a 25mm, make sure it's sharp. And I'm going to cut this out. So from there, what I'll do is, I'll just line up, okay, the high points on my holes. a bit at a time. Come through and do it a bit more comfortably. Got there, so I'm going to take a smaller chisel, just lever out any excess, any loose bits. Okay, now I can see in there a bit better. I can clear out the rest that I need to. Don't get tempted to blow that dust out, it will go in your eyes. But let's just check to see if this goes in. Okay, so it's a little bit stopping it going in, so don't force it. I now need to take it out where it's actually tight. Now I can see where it's tight, if I can look inside. So what I am going to do is, before I chop out the faceplate, because I've got this drill bit here, I'm going to carry on with it for the moment. So when we look at the actual handles that we're fitting, okay, now the spindle goes in here, we've got this circular part of the handle. If I look at that, can you see my drill bit happens to be the same size as that? Now on here, I could get away with a slightly smaller hole. But sometimes you've got to check this, because sometimes these bits can protrude further than the back of the actual plate of your handle, which means you have to make the hole large enough so that doesn't actually rub on the door. So what I'm going to do is, at my handle point, my spindle, I'm going to drill this drill bit through into my hole. I come around the other side and do exactly the same. I don't drill all the way through. Okay, why not? Why not? Let's go straight through. It'll just break out. At the moment it is breaking out, but it's breaking out inside. I'm fine with that. I'm now going to do my keyhole. So I'm going to change the drill bit, because I don't want that size drill bit. I want a smaller drill bit. I want a drill bit, okay, that is going to match, if you like, a little bit bigger than my key, so it goes in. I don't want to make the hole too big. You do get some people that just drill a great big hole through and say, oh, it's going to be covered, but that's not what should happen. So I'm going to drill through the top, like so. Come through, drill through the top. Then I'm going to take a 6mm chisel. And what I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to create my keyhole. So what I'll do from now, I'll do it from both sides, okay. I line my chisel up 90 degrees to my line. Make sure you can see this, people. Okay, and what I do is, I chop that in and work my way down so that mark that I made that was 15mm down. What I then have created is a clean, neat keyhole shape. So I come through, work my way down, and again I'm creating that neat keyhole shape. Now I've got some bits that are broken out inside because of my drilling and chiseling, so I need to clean that out. So I'll take the chisel, any loose bits, and cut those off. So clean those out. Lovely. So now we're going to chop the faceplate out. Now when you do your faceplate, there's a couple of things we can do to make life easier for ourselves. Across the top, we can chisel it, but sometimes, particularly if we're not using softwood, most doors you come across will have a hardwood lipping on. Okay, so it's far denser. Softwood, this can crush easy. So if I grab a knife, I'm going to run a knife line along there. So give me 1 second, let me go and grab my knife. What I can do here, if I line that up exactly on my line, put a square up to my knife, and then I can cut across the grain and come back and cut across the grain. It just makes it a little bit easier to control your timber. So from here, on the top, come down, I can cut across my grain, I can come back and cut across my grain. Right, and now we're going to cut this out. So I want a chisel that is as close to being the width of that as possible. Now we can see this is too wide. So I've got to take it down to a smaller width chisel. Okay, this one. So let's cut this. So when I cut it, I come down from my line, a bit like we did with our hinges, don't go to the line. So I come down, okay, 1 millimetre, and I chop in. I come across to my line and chop in. Now, I'm going to cut to this thickness. Now, unlike a hinge, I can't actually measure this depth. On a hinge, we could mark it, couldn't we? So I'm coming down to this thickness. Again, it's going to be experience to actually get it correct. So I hold the chisel upside down and I work away from that line. So I come through and I feather down. Okay, come to the edge. Okay, from the other side, do the same. Now, I'm also going to follow this all the way down the edge here. So you can use the same chisel, or you can take a smaller one. It's entirely up to you. Okay, I'm going to use the same chisel because I'm lazy and can't really change it. I'll be honest. Don't go past the line. So again, I can use my hands, you could even use the edge of the chisel, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so we've got lots of little rough bits there, so I'm just going to smooth them out to start with. Keep the chisel upside down. Okay, so you don't want to turn the chisel the right way up here. because if you do, the chisel will actually physically go in at an angle and you can't get it flat. So you've got to turn it round so this edge here, when you're hitting, is creating a flat surface. You've got control over, okay, pairing this off. So we come through. And again, we're trying to get to the exact depth, okay, of our faceplate, or fore-end plate, I should say. That's the proper name. Okay, across here, let's take this piece here out. So a little bit deeper here. Okay, don't hit it too hard when you get near the end, otherwise you'll lift this faceplate. Right, I'm now going to take a wider chisel and I'm going to work up the edges to clean the edges up. So from here, now I'm just going to clean up the top and bottom. Okay, remember the knife one we did. Let's line this up, nice and square. Hit it, cut it off. To the bottom. Okay, take out any remaining bits that need to come off. Okay, I can see a little bit here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to check to see if what we've cleaned off is enough. So take your lock and we're going to put it in this way round, not the correct way. We go this way. So what I'm hoping for when it goes in, okay, so a little look. Okay, right, I've got a slight fraction, I've got about 1/4 of a mil I need to adjust. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. You can see it here. Okay, so let's try again. Okay, so that goes in like so. Now when that goes in, it should go in and finish nice and flush. If it goes in and finishes flush, that means that your faceplate is the correct thickness. Yeah? If it doesn't go in flush, it means you need to adjust a little bit on the faceplate. Which also allows us, so when this goes in, and we're up the top, and there's a bit of dust going inside, or not dust, chipping, so let's just bring those chippings out. So when that goes in, what should happen, it should go all the way in. If it doesn't go in, what is stopping it going in? Get something inside. Because I've checked the faceplate, we know that's good. Yeah? So that's it. So what I can now do with that is screw this in place. Okay, so let me just grab a couple of screws and we'll get this screwed on.